stunning scene playing out in a Manhattan courtroom. The Trump Organization now in the crosshairs of the Manhattan District Attorney, indicted for tax fraud. It's CFO in handcuffs as he's escorted into the New York City courtroom today. The question tonight, will Allen Weisselberg flip? And what that might mean for the former President Trump and his family. In Surfside tonight, anxious families forced to wait even longer as they hope for a miracle. As one of the condo's columns shifts, officials are forced to halt search and rescue efforts for victims. And President Biden and the First Lady in Surfside thanking the first responders who have worked around the clock for days to try and find residents who may still be alive. Tonight, the major decision by the U.S. Supreme Court on voting laws in Arizona. The president saying he is deeply disappointed as Republicans hail the decision from a divided court. What does this mean for the hundreds of restrictive voting laws across the country? And what comes next in Congress? Are Devin Dwyer and Rachel Scott standing by?
You called this an immediate concern. Why not go that route?
Well, you do it for one time, then you basically destroy the Senate as we know it.
The unprecedented extreme heat wave finally moving away from the West Coast, but those sweltering temps blamed tonight for dozens and dozens of deaths. All of this coming as early season tropical storm Elsa plows ahead toward the Florida coast. Rob Marciano tracking it all. And we're in Hong Kong tonight as thousands of officers are now deployed for a holiday. The reality setting in 1 year after China's crackdown on democracy. The concern tonight about what comes next. She was supposed to go to space a lifetime ago. 60 years later, she's still as unstoppable as a rocket. Tonight, the former astronaut and aviation pioneer set to make history as the oldest person to ever fly into space. At 82 years young, she says, "I'll be flying till I die." And good evening, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips in for Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us tonight. A scheme to defraud the government. Tonight, that's just one part of the sweeping allegations former President Trump's namesake company, the Trump Organization, is now facing after prosecutors unsealed an indictment this afternoon in a Manhattan courtroom. Prosecutors say the 15-year scheme was orchestrated at the highest levels, compensating employees off the books to avoid taxes. Among those who benefit, they say Chief Financial Officer Allen Weisselberg, who was led into court today in handcuffs. Weisselberg is seen as the most important person in the Trump Organization other than President Trump and his family. The indictment accuses him of using cash from the Trump Organization to pay for his rent, his kids' school tuition, and lease luxury cars. Now the question tonight, will Weisselberg flip on Trump, and will he ultimately testify against the man he's known for decades? Our John Carl leads us off tonight.
Allen Weisselberg, a man who has spent nearly a half-century as a top executive in the company where Donald Trump made his fortune and fame, was brought into court today in handcuffs. He and the former president's business empire were charged in what prosecutors today called a sweeping and audacious scheme to avoid paying taxes. Weisselberg is the Trump Organization's chief financial officer.
Replacing George this week is my chief financial officer, Allen Weisselberg. And you think George is tough? Wait till you see Allen.
Prosecutors accused Weisselberg and the Trump Organization of compensating top executives off the books so the business and the executives could pay less in taxes. Weisselberg himself is accused of avoiding taxes on $1.7 million in fringe benefits over the past 15 years, including a rent-free apartment in Manhattan, 2 Mercedes-Benz automobiles for him and his wife, and private school tuition for their 2 children. The tuition, the indictment says, was paid by personal checks drawn on the account of and signed by Donald J. Trump. Weisselberg pleaded not guilty. As for Donald Trump, he says the entire 2-year investigation is politically motivated.
It's a disgusting thing. It's very unfair.
One potentially key witness is Weisselberg's former daughter-in-law, who is cooperating with investigators.
He knows where the bodies are buried, and he's the one that does the deals. He's the one that knows where every penny goes.
Trump's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, who turned on Trump and did time in prison, says the soon-to-be 74-year-old Weisselberg could turn on Trump, too.
Right now, His life is on the line. He's 74 years old. He wants to be with his family, not hanging out with a bunch of other inmates.
Trump told ABC News Weisselberg is, quote, a tremendous person. They are pressuring him, setting him up. They want him to lie against Trump.
And John Karl joins us now. John, the former president himself was not charged today, but he's not in the clear just yet, right?
The prosecutors said that the investigation continues, and Kira, this is a sprawling investigation. Keep in mind, they have had Donald Trump's tax returns and other financial records since February, and there will clearly be an effort to get Weisselberg, who faces up to 15 years in prison if he is found guilty, to flip, although Donald Trump today told ABC News that he does not think that is going to happen.
So you don't think he's worried about these developments, huh?
Well, he is certainly paying very close attention. He had several statements he put out today, familiar sounding, calling this entirely politically motivated, a witch hunt. I'm sure that he is at least very annoyed by all of this, and he has to be concerned. I mean, the idea that prosecutors are targeting one of his, the one person that really knows everything about the finances of that company at a time when they also have all of those financial records, there's got to be certainly a level of concern on the part of Donald Trump.
John, this is definitely not something that we will end up leaving right here today. That is for sure. John Karl, thanks so much.
We will be back.
Yes, we'll be back.
Thank you, Kara.
And for more reaction to today's indictment, we are joined by Jennifer Weisselberg, Alan Weisselberg's former daughter-in-law, who we just saw in John Karl's report. Jen, we expected this indictment, but what was it like for you to see your former father-in-law, your children's grandfather, in handcuffs today, facing the possibility of years behind bars?
I didn't see the handcuffs. I heard about the handcuffs. I didn't realize the extent of the indictment. I didn't realize it was 1.7. I can't imagine him in handcuffs, but it's apropos. Is this the video of him in handcuffs? It makes me. It's justice. It's right. It's absolutely right. It feels right, and it feels good. Finally. Yep.
And expand on that. What's been the family's reaction today? Did you or your family members know that he may be committing tax fraud?
Oh, did I know?
Yes. Did you know or have any idea?
It's in my documents. Yeah, I've known for since 2017. I've been screaming in my divorce. Yes, because he controlled our money. So I've been screaming it, but finally the DA was able to prove it and get a criminal indictment, which a woman just screaming it in a big influential company like this didn't do very much. But finally, I don't like to hurt anybody, but I am so happy that justice is served. It's a relief. Yeah.
Prosecutors allege that Allen concealed so-called indirect compensation from the Trump Organization to pay for things like private school, luxury cars. What can you tell us about that?
But see, it wasn't Allen, it was Donald. It was Donald. It's Donald's liability. It's Donald's tax issue. He may have suggested, but it was Donald Trump that said, I'll pay for your daughter's school in lieu of compensation, in lieu of a raise, excuse me, which lowers compensation taxes, which just, makes everybody happy in that company because they don't want to pay taxes and they don't want to pay for anything that doesn't benefit them. They don't like to pay for things.
Jen, how do you know that, Jen? How do you know that? How do you know that it was Donald Trump and not your former father-in-law?
Oh, well, number one, it's in Barry's deposition. He talks about it. Number two, I was there. It's every January. He brings in his employees and discusses, good job this year. I heard you're going to get a house in Florida. Alan, I'll take care of that. Oh, I heard that Ava's going to school with Barron. Oh, I'll take care of that. There's an apartment available. We'll gift you that. No, it wasn't a gift. It was a way to lower your compensation. It was a way to lower everything, 401k, payroll tax. It was a way to scam on taxes, and when you're the president or the former president, you're the government, you're the law. So I'm sorry. It's just, it's not right to scam anyone. I mean, it's time to do the right thing. And I'm actually, I hate to say this because it took me a minute to ingest it, but I am thrilled that he had to walk in handcuffs, because what he has done to my children and I, what has he even done to his own sons? He's never felt an ounce of accountability. He's never felt an ounce of anything except pride that he was pleasing his boss. So I hope he can reflect on it.
Jennifer Weisselberg calling in from a restaurant there having dinner. We got you at the last minute. We appreciate it, and we will talk to you again. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
And now for legal analysis of today's charges, we bring in Adam Kaufman, former chief of the investigation division at the Manhattan's DA's office. That's the office now prosecuting this case. Adam, we've been talking all day. Let's go back a bit. It's not a crime for a company to compensate their executives with big perks like apartments and luxury cars, but you have to pay taxes on it. So how serious do you think these charges are?
I mean, that's exactly right, Kira. This is a common business practice, but the common business practice is to step up and declare what's being paid and pay the taxes on it. And that's how businesses should operate. This is a pretty big deal, I would say. It's a lot of money. When I was running the investigation division, I routinely signed off on indictments for payroll tax, for tax evasion that was much smaller than a $1.7 million total. So, I think these are very serious charges. The indictment speaks to the indictment says a lot. It speaks to a systematic and ongoing course of conduct. If you notice in the indictment, it talks about keeping careful track of the value of what was being given to Mr. Weisselberg off the books so they could deduct his salary, but they didn't declare the income. So they're sort of reporting to the IRS one set of numbers, and internally they're keeping track of another set of numbers. That's sort of a textbook tax scheme. This just happens to be a big one.
So prosecutors also claim that tuition payments for private school were paid by personal checks signed by Donald Trump. What's the legal significance of that?
It's interesting. I mean, that sort of points to something a lot more direct involving the former president than a lot of the other parts of the indictment, which speak only to the corporation. You can also take note, there's a final count in the indictment that talks about falsifying business records, which is a common charge brought by prosecutors. Most of the falsifying business records speak to W-2s or 1099s, the kind of documents you might expect to see in a tax case. The last count in the indictment charges falsification of the personal ledger of Donald Trump. And so you look at that and you think, well, that's different. That speaks much more to Mr. Trump himself rather than to the Trump organization. So I think that's a significant development that's sort of tucked in at the end of the indictment.
So having worked in this prosecutor's office, what can you tell us about the DA's possible next steps? And do you think they'll try to flip Alan Weisselberg against the former president? And if so, does that mean the former president is in trouble?
So, I mean, the answer, of course, is yes. They've brought this indictment. It's been reported they were trying to get Mr. Weisselberg to cooperate. He has refused. Now he's indicted. He's looking at as much as 5 to 15 years in jail. He'll be looking at probably not that much time, but he'll be looking at jail time for this conduct. And of course, they're going to be trying to get him to flip. They'll be trying to get other Trump executives into the grand jury and to see what they have to say about the scope of conduct and who was involved.
And finally, the Trump organization is criminally indicted as well. What does that even mean, since a company is not a person and can't go to jail?
Yeah, it's pretty common well, it's not uncommon, I should say, in white-collar cases to charge a corporate defendant. When a high managerial agent of a company engages in criminal conduct, the company can be charged. So here we have the CFO of the organization who engaged in this systematic ongoing scheme to defraud the taxes and to receive these false refunds and to orchestrate all of the false record keeping. So in that type of case, the corporation does have exposure, does have criminal culpability. And so the corporation can face substantial fines. And if convicted, it could face loss of licenses, different types of collateral consequences. But those would be beyond the scope of the criminal justice system.
The indictment did say that it wasn't just talking about Alan Weisselberg, but other executives within the Trump organization. So what is your gut? You investigated these types of cases. Are we talking about the former president and his kids?
Now, of course, I have absolutely no idea because I don't know the evidence. The common knowledge or the common refrain is that Mr. Trump controlled everything within the Trump organization. So that's an answer to your question.
And that's what Michael Cohen told me tonight. We actually interviewed Michael Cohen, as you know, his former attorney and confidant and advisor, and he flipped on him as well. And that's exactly what he said, that Donald Trump knows everything that goes on in the Trump organization, everything connected to money.
Well, and that's so, that's testimony the grand jury may hear, but to indict someone, you have to prove that they specifically had knowledge or participated in or ordered or condoned the specific criminal acts that are being charged. So a general statement that Mr. Trump did everything isn't going to get to an indictment. The question is whether there is competent evidence and there are witnesses who put him in the room giving an order or somehow doing something that brings specific criminal liability.
Adam, always appreciate your insights, and thanks for helping me get through the day today. We had a lot of breaking news when this came down.
Thanks, Kara. It's been a great day. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks.
You bet. Next to the search for survivors after that building in South Florida collapsed in the middle of the night. The search temporarily suspended earlier today, adding to the anguish of families. All this as President Biden and the First Lady touched down to pay many of them a visit. Victor Akendo once again on the story for us.
Tonight, rescue efforts resuming at Champlain Towers South after being suspended for most of the day. Crews suddenly evacuating in the early morning hours, fearing what remains of the condominium could come down.
We're doing everything we can to ensure that the safety of our first responders is paramount and to continue our search and rescue operation as soon as it is safe to do so.
Shortly after 2 a.m., crews finding troubling signs, including widening cracks and movement in a large column hanging at the site. But now Surfside's mayor says search and rescue is back to work full power. This as President Biden and the First Lady traveled here to Surfside, Florida today, visiting the growing memorial.
The whole nation is mourning with these families. They see it every day on television. They're going through hell. And those who survived the collapse, as well as those who are missing loved ones.
Biden meeting with first responders and rescue teams. Afterwards, spending time privately for hours with grieving families, including Bettina Obias, whose aunt and uncle are among the missing.
I'm still hoping that there's a miracle, but I also want them to make sure that nobody gets hurt anymore, right? These people are risking their lives too. We have to think about them.
This evening, the death toll stands at 18. Including the first children, sisters 10-year-old Lucia and 4-year-old Emma Guada. And there are 145 people still unaccounted for. Great-grandparents Arnie and Miriam Notkin among them. Their great-grandson Sean holding a Surfside Strong sign, the family holding on to hope.
Victor Akendo joining us now from Surfside. So, Victor, such a relief late today when family members actually got word that search and rescue efforts are resuming.
Kira, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue saying following the recommendation of structural engineers, search and rescue efforts have resumed, adding that finding missing loved ones continues to be at the forefront of our operations. Kira?
We sure appreciate your ongoing reporting on this, Victor. Thanks. Now to the grim reality setting in as brutal heat waves move into and from the West Coast tonight. At least 76 people have died in Oregon and Washington state and north in the border of Canada. More than 100 deaths there. Marcy Gonzalez reports.
Record-shattering temperatures in the Pacific Northwest now blamed for dozens of deaths. At least 76 people died of heat-related issues in the past week in Oregon and Washington state, where it got as hot as 118 degrees in places. Nearly 100 more deaths were reported in British Columbia, Canada.
It certainly was a disaster response of sorts.
Many emergency rooms saw a huge influx of patients during the unprecedented heat wave, and at least one county reported the highest number of 911 calls for medical emergencies ever.
I felt so sick on the first day of it, so then I could only imagine.
The scorching temperatures leaving bone-dry conditions that are, in part, fueling more than 40 wildfires in the West, some prompting evacuation orders. The fire danger so concerning in Oregon, the governor declaring a state of emergency. Experts say the kind of historic heat wave that hit the Pacific Northwest would normally only happen once every 1,000 years. But they say with global warming, these extreme weather events are likely to happen more often.
Several people were talking here about, well, now we finally believe in climate change is real.
And our thanks to Marcy. Now let's bring in meteorologist Rob Marciano. Rob, some much needed relief from the heat has arrived on the West Coast, and here on the East Coast, storms could be coming this weekend. Meanwhile, you are already in the middle of a storm.
We are. This is part of a long front that stretches from the Colorado Rockies and the Front Range where we are. We were in a flash flood of watch, and it's coming down heavily once again today, and it stretches all the way back towards the East Coast, where we'll cool off there. But the heat that's been in the Northwest is actually going to come back. So we've seen some relief the past few days, but the 3 to 4 day forecast brings Portland back into the lower 90s, which is still a good 15 degrees above average, and Billings and Boise will stay in triple-digit territory. You mentioned the storms in the east along this front that's bumping into the heat and humidity that's built up there. The severe thunderstorm watches and flash flood watches from Virginia all the way up through New Jersey. These will last for another couple of hours, but reset, I think, tomorrow because it's a pretty slow-moving front that's just kind of drifting into the I-95 corridor. So I think it's going to be a messy day, much like it was today along that front through Knoxville and even back in through Colorado once again. So a lot of people being impacted by this pesky July front. Kira.
Yes, including yourself. Now, look, this is the last thing search crews in Florida want to hear tonight, right? But you're also tracking a tropical storm that's making its way to the U.S. tonight.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's heading towards the Caribbean, but it's moving quickly. It was named today, Tropical Storm Elsa. Right now, pretty weak, but moving along at nearly 30 miles an hour. So tropical storm warnings have been posted for Barbados, St. Lucia. It's about just under 400 miles from there. We'll be in the Caribbean, 60-mile-per-hour winds. And then the DR and Haiti, they got tropical storm watches posted. Then you can see the last bit of this track, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. We think it's going to impact Florida in some way, but really low confidence. Our computer models are all over the place. They go from the Yucatan all the way to the Bahamas. Some are just killing it in Cuba, which would certainly be an ideal situation. But if it pans out like this, it is going to be a difficult time for the recovery efforts there in Florida. So we'll just have to watch this closely, Kira. As I mentioned, low confidence right now as to what it's going to do by next week. But we're getting into the meaty part of hurricane season, so anything's possible.
We'll stay in touch. Rob, thanks so much.
You bet, Kara.
And the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a major decision on voting rights today that could have a sweeping impact on elections in this country. By a vote of 6-3, the court's conservative majority upheld 2 Arizona state voting restrictions and in the process put new limits on protections against racial discrimination under the Voting Rights Act. Here's our Devin Dwyer with more.
With Republicans pushing a wave of new voting restrictions nationwide, today the U.S. Supreme Court made it harder for civil rights advocates to fight back.
The court made clear that it is skeptical of claims that states are discriminating on the basis of race in voting, even as it acknowledged that that is still a real threat that we face in this country.
The court's conservative majority upholding 2 contested Arizona voting rules, one invalidating ballots cast in the wrong precinct, another criminalizing the collection of mail ballots by community groups or campaigns.
Only 6% of Native Americans live on a postal route, meaning You can't get mail at home in most places. And that's why ballot collection mattered to communities like the Navajo Nation and other large concentrations on very rural Native American voters, because it made it easier for people to actually participate.
A federal appeals court siding with Democrats last year found both rules violated Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965, which says no state voting rule can deny or abridge the right to vote on account of race. But today, the Supreme Court reversed. Justice Samuel Alito writing, "Equal openness to the vote remains the touchstone. Mere inconvenience cannot be enough to demonstrate a violation of Section 2."
I thought it was a big win, obviously, not only for Arizona, but for election integrity measures and for the Constitution. Arizona has a whole plethora. We have a whole menu of options how we can vote. We don't want anyone's votes diluted or discarded or thrown away, and we all want to have confidence in the results.
Justice Elena Kagan firing back in dissent, warning the court's decision would weaken protections Congress intended. Maybe some think that vote suppression is a relic of history, and so the need for a potent Section 2 has come and gone. But Congress gets to make that call, she wrote. Because it has not done so, this court's duty is to apply the law as it is written.
Do you think that allowing these restrictions now to take effect will give Republicans an advantage?
I think we sometimes give politicians a pass when we suggest that they are only passing these laws in order to gain a partisan advantage. This is a case about race discrimination. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals found that one of these laws was a law targeting voters because of their race intentionally.
At the end of the day, the Supreme Court overturned the Ninth Circuit and rejected those arguments because, as I said, there's a whole list of ways people could exercise the franchise here. Absentee balloting and the manipulation of absentee ballots is one of the greatest threats to election integrity.
But after months of investigations, audits, and court challenges, there has been no evidence of widespread fraud in any recent election. In Arizona, most voters, more than 80%, have been voting by mail since the 1990s.
The court said that even if there's no evidence that there's anything going wrong with elections, Arizona can use the lie that there might be something going wrong with elections to justify passing restrictive laws.
Justice Alito saying judges should now raise the bar for what qualifies as racial discrimination in voting, considering the burden a restriction imposes, the size of racial disparity it causes, and the other opportunities available to cast a ballot.
We have an opportunity here. The Supreme Court didn't help us. State legislatures aren't helping us. They're actually erecting barriers, but voters have the power to overcome those barriers.
Americans by a 2-to-1 margin in a new ABC News Washington Post poll say it's more important to make it easier to vote lawfully than to make it harder to vote fraudulently. That public opinion in contrast with an unprecedented effort underway to crack down on ballot access. 17 states so far this year have enacted 28 new restrictive voting laws. Civil rights advocates say the fight is far from over.
Congress has the power to change this. State legislatures have the power to change this, and the people will not be silenced, and they're going to have a government that reflects who they are.
And Devin joins me now. So, Devin, the court's two final decisions this year were so contentious, pitting the 6 conservatives against the 3 liberals, but you actually found that this division was unusual.
Yeah, we took a look at all the opinions this term, Kira, and found as divisive as today's decisions may have been, they were actually outliers. This is the most conservative court in a generation, and yet the past few months they have found some astonishing consensus. They delivered more unanimous or near unanimous opinions this past term than at any time in the last 7 years. A remarkable statistic. 34 opinions in cases that were argued this year were 9-0, or with just one justice dissenting. That's 61%, a sign that Chief Justice Roberts has still wielded some influence here, trying to bring this court out of the political fray. But every term is different, of course, and the cases ahead this fall could be strikingly divergent among the views among the justices. We have abortion rights on the table. We have potentially affirmative action, a big case dealing with the right to carry a handgun outside the home. So these big issues on the horizon may spell a different vibe next term, but certainly an astonishing finding this spring.
Meanwhile, court watchers wondering if any court justices might be retiring because this is the time, right?
Tis the season to hang up the hat and step down if you're going to do it. No announcements today, Kira, although it's still early. They can come at any time. All eyes, of course, are on Justice Stephen Breyer. He's the oldest member of the bench at 82 years old, also the senior liberal member of the court. He's faced extraordinary pressure of late to step down, to give President Biden a chance to appoint someone with Senate Democrats who would share his ideology. Republicans, of course, vowing to block some of those picks. But tonight, no indication he's about to do that. We have our eyes on him. Could happen anytime in the days ahead. Kira?
Well, maybe they all agreed that nobody was going to leave just yet. They needed to stick together.
No one voted him off the island just yet.
Yeah, there you go.
So we are watching Justice Breyer.
All right, Devin Dwyer, thanks so much.
Thanks, Kira.
When we come back, rising gas prices with the holiday weekend coming up. Is there any relief in sight? China's president celebrates what he calls its irreversible rise. But what does that mean for its complex relationship with Hong Kong and its continued crackdown on democracy there? But first, the fight for voting rights taking on a new urgency after that Supreme Court ruling today. The freedom rides nationwide, push for reform, but can anything end that stalemate in Congress?
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir.
We have made it through another week together.
America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Admit it, these days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Lunchtime at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. It's all about you.
Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, Michael Strahan. Wake up with America's #1 most watched morning show. ABC's
Good Morning America.
The world may feel out of your control, but your happiness doesn't have to be. Learn the secrets to happiness. Listen to the 10% Happier podcast, free on Apple Podcasts.
ABC News honored winner for the second straight year with the Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television. ABC News, America's #1 news source. Friday nights, 9/8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues, the hunt. True crime, 2020. Friday nights, 9/8 Central on ABC. This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back.
We're surrounded by people
Squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
Now, when it matters most, the straightforward facts. ABC News is America's #1 news. Good Morning America, #1 in the morning, 9 years running. World News Tonight with David Muir, #1 in the evening with America's most watched newscast. 2020, the #1 news magazine on Friday nights. The View, the #1 daytime talk show. And ABC News Live, #1 in streaming news. ABC News is America's #1 news.
Pop icon Britney Spears has been invited to testify in front of Congress by embattled lawmaker Matt Gaetz, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and other Republican lawmakers. In a letter, they say they've been following her conservatorship with deep concern and that, quote, please take advantage of the empowerment that public congressional testimony can unlock. We'll see what she does. And today's Supreme Court decision on voting rights has sparked renewed calls by Democrats for national legislation to strengthen voting access. President Biden reacting via statement, we should be fully enforcing voting rights laws, not weakening them. Well, voting rights legislation failed in the Senate last week with Republicans blocking debate on the measure, but that's not stopping activists from keeping up the pressure. ABC's Rachel Scott is tracking the efforts.
The people, united, will never be defeated.
With voting rights legislation now stalled in Congress, activists are pleading for the Biden administration to step up their actions to secure fair access to the ballot box at a national level.
Which side are you on?
In the shadow of the Capitol, civil rights advocates taking to the streets last week, lining up outside the Supreme Court.
This is not simply Jim Crow. This is James Crow Esquire.
Today, the court ruling in a 6-3 decision upholding voting restrictions in the state of Arizona. That's prompting Democrats to renew calls for national legislation on voting rights. It comes as 17 states have now enacted laws restricting access to voting since the end of the 2020 election. States like Georgia, whose SB 202 voting law critics say will make it even harder to vote, especially for minorities. Days ago, the Justice Department stepping in, filing a lawsuit against the state of Georgia, a case the Attorney General said would not be needed if Congress took action.
We urge Congress to act to provide the department with important authorities it needs to protect the voting rights of every American. If Georgia had still been covered by Section 5, it is likely that SB 202 would never have taken effect.
Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 allowed the Justice Department to take action against voter discrimination.
Are you now registered to vote in Alabama?
Since then, the department says it has blocked more than 175 proposed election bills across Georgia alone, stopping them from being implemented. But that critical provision was gutted in 2013, and Democrats have been trying to restore it ever since. It is included in a voting rights bill that passed the House, the For the People Act, which would instate national automatic voter registration, prohibit the purging of voter rolls, and end partisan gerrymandering. But Republicans in the Senate refused to even debate the proposal, calling it a power grab by Democrats.
What this is really about is an effort for the federal government to take over the way we conduct elections in this country. It is a solution in search of a problem.
A number of Democrats say now is the time to use their majority power to change the rules in the Senate to get this legislation over the finish line without any Republican support.
No one person ought to be able to stand in the way of a whole race of people having access to the ballot. And that's what you're doing when you allow a filibuster.
But one moderate Democrat has stood fast against changing the Senate filibuster, Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia.
What about some activists who say, let's suspend the rules for this one time, push this through, that the need is urgent? You called this an immediate concern. Why not go that route?
Well, you do it for one time, then you basically destroy the Senate as we know it.
Won't stop! Won't stop!
Activists flooding West Virginia to ramp up the pressure on Manchin.
Senator Manchin, I ask you, I plead to you to do your job and put in work because the time is right now. We are watching and elections have consequences.
We do expect for him to listen and for him to recognize this is a breaking point for the Black community in West Virginia.
Latasha Brown and her fellow Black Voters Matter co-founder Cliff Albright leading the charge.
Senator Manchin and others, we're putting them in office. We're not accountable to them. They're accountable to us. So I think it's very disingenuous to say that he's waiting on bipartisanship when they've shown they have no interest, not even in passing the bill or considering the bill, but not to even debate the bill.
Crisscrossing the country in more than 14 states, joining with local activists, spearheading a bus tour they call the Freedom Rides.
When I say we are officially the blackest bus in America, we mean that. No matter where we go to, if we're in rural communities or we're in urban communities, large cities, small cities, we're hearing the same thing. People want to make sure that their rights to vote is protected.
These activists picking up the torch, inspired by the original freedom riders of the civil rights movement, including a young John Lewis, who boarded a bus in hope of sparking change. Now a new generation of activists is pushing Washington to act.
When we talk about that history, and when our communities and our states and our voters hear that history, then they'll be inspired to answer the call the same way those 1961 freedom riders answered the call.
For ABC News, I'm Rachel Scott in Washington.
Still ahead here on Prime, Bill Cosby home after his conviction was overturned. So what's he doing with his newfound freedom? The massive explosion sparked by illegal fireworks. We take a look by the numbers. But first, our post of the day, honoring a woman who did all the same training as the men, but was not allowed to fly on the Apollo mission until now. Thank you, Mr. Bezos.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out there.
She revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart that he did this.
It's the time of suspicion.
The ending's really tough.
You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back.
We're surrounded by people
Squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
We want to know how you say.
Good morning, America! Good morning, America! Can't start my day without GMA.
Now, with America reopening, we want you to show us how you say.
Good morning, America.
So get together with friends, family.
Good morning, America!
Good morning, America.
And share with us at #MyGMA how you say.
Good morning, America.
And you might see yourself right here on GMA.
How big is the biggest Shark Fest ever?
They're right here.
It's 6 weeks big. It's multiple places to watch big.
That's a giant shark.
It's Chris Hemsworth diving with sharks big.
Should I be nervous?
Wow. With big action and even bigger premieres.
Here's to the sharks.
With a Shark Fest this big, you're gonna need a bigger screen. It all kicks off with the premiere of Shark Beach with Chris Hemsworth, Monday at 9 on National Geographic.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
Seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know,
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it? Feel smarter,
feel better.
feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Lunchtime at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. It's all about you.
24 hours, assault on the Capitol. The ABC News original, exclusively on Hulu. Now streaming. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir.
We have made it through another week together.
America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
Now to a massive explosion that rocked a Los Angeles neighborhood. What was supposed to be a controlled detonation of illegal fireworks. It comes as California officials are seizing illegal fireworks amid the threat of wildfires from the ongoing heat and drought out west. We take a look by the numbers. Authorities had seized 5,000 pounds of illegal commercial-grade fireworks from an LA home, but had a catastrophic failure when an LAPD bomb containment truck exploded during a planned detonation of a portion of the devices. 17 people were wounded, including 10 LAPD officers, as the vehicle tore apart, shattering glass in homes and businesses nearby. It comes as California officials say they've seized nearly 80,000 pounds of illegal fireworks this May and June as they were being smuggled into the state at the Nevada border just ahead of the July 4th holiday. Officials say the illegal fireworks pose a real danger, with firefighters responding to some 5,000 emergencies in California in the past 5 years, all caused by fireworks. Last year's incidents, 3 times more than the average. And with some 47% of the lower 48 states experiencing some form of drought, the danger of fireworks sparking wildfires is a real concern, causing many communities out west to cancel fireworks displays this coming 4th of July weekend. Well, straight ahead on Prime, the rapid response teams headed to new COVID hotspots in the U.S., places not able to slow the hyper-transmissible Delta variant. In Hong Kong, a day of protest now turned into a day of security crackdowns. And Princess Diana's 60th birthday statue revealed. See Prince William and Prince Harry unveil it. But first, a look at our top trending stories on abcnews.com.
We will guide you through it all tonight. We have made it through another week together.
Big hug,
We tell all our patients how much they're loved. We hold their hands.
David, we're showing our love and support for all the ICU staff.
They're the heroes in this.
Now, when it matters most, the straightforward facts. ABC News is America's #1 news. Good Morning America, #1 in the morning, 9 years running. World News Tonight with David Muir, #1 in the evening with America's most watched newscast. 2020, the #1 news magazine on Friday nights. The View, the #1 daytime talk show. And ABC News Live, #1 in streaming news. ABC News is America's #1 news.
The world may feel out of your control, but your happiness doesn't have to be. Learn the secrets to happiness. Listen to the 10% Happier podcast, free on Apple Podcasts.
ABC News honored winner for the second straight year with the Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television. ABC News, America's #1 news source.
This is GMA3, what you need to know. GMA3.
A third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon.
It's all about you. Lunchtime on ABC.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back.
We're surrounded by people
Squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
Friday nights, 9/8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime. 2020. Friday nights, 9/8 Central on ABC. Tomorrow, we're kicking off the start to the July 4th weekend with Lady A on GMA. The weekend party starts right here. Tomorrow with Good Morning America's Summer Concert Series, sponsored by Caesars Rewards.
In Manhattan, the chief financial officer of the Trump Organization, Alan Weisselberg, said not guilty to more than a dozen charges related to an alleged tax fraud scheme. The entire Trump Organization also charged.
The defense really reacted negatively to the way that prosecutors portrayed these charges. This indictment, the very first to result from a 2-year investigation, alleges a scheme to defraud tax authorities here in New York City and in New York State to the tune of millions of dollars. This alleged scheme ran from 2005 to 2021, the indictment said, and Alan Weisselberg himself was able to enrich himself with $1.7 million.
In 244 years, we have not had a local prosecutor go after a former president of the United States.
The charges come after the Manhattan DA obtained years of Trump's tax returns and other financial records in a battle that went all the way to the Supreme Court twice.
The former president has not been charged.
Tonight, rescue efforts resuming at Champlain Tower South after being suspended for most of the day.
The temporary stop as President Joe Biden visited with first responders.
What you're doing now is just hard as hell. Deal with even psychologically. Deal with it. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
The president and the first lady at the flower wall. You can see them there looking at some of the notes and all of the tributes for the victims there.
The whole nation is mourning with these families. They see it every day on television. They're going through hell. And those who survived the collapse, as well as those who are missing loved ones.
And at the site, more victims were identified.
It is also with great sorrow, real pain, that I have to share with you that 2 of these were children, aged 4 and 10.
Facing what it calls a hyper-transmissible Delta variant, the White House tonight launching surge response teams to send to virus hotspots.
To be clear, the federal government stands ready to meet the moment and work with our state partners to respond to the Delta variant.
The Delta variant now behind about 1 in 4 new cases. It comes as the White House plans a 4th of July celebration to mark what the president hoped would be our independence from the virus.
Walking in his own driveway after waking up in his own home, something Bill Cosby hasn't done in nearly 3 years.
He was just elated. He was elated to be home. You know, freedom is amazing.
Cosby used his second day of freedom to visit friends and meet up with his wife, leaving his home at around 1 p.m. behind the tinted glass of his black SUV. His publicist and crisis manager, Andrew Wyatt, letting our crew inside a guest house on the grounds of Cosby's estate to speak one-on-one, detailing how surprised Cosby was on Wednesday when he found out he was being released.
He could not believe what was happening when the officer opened his cell door. He didn't know what was going on. He heard all of the inmates say, "Bill, get out of here, you're free."
But perhaps none was as surprised as Cosby's accusers, among them Lisa Lott Loveland, who says Cosby drugged and assaulted her in 1989.
This man has blatantly stated that he will use Quaaludes to have sex with an unconscious woman.
But Cosby's publicist maintains his innocence.
Despite the highest gas prices so far this year, the traffic is back from coast to coast. More people expected to take to the roads this 4th of July holiday than before the pandemic.
The national average is $3.09, and we expect it to increase ahead of the holiday weekend.
Airports are also packed. 3.5 million travelers eager to get back into the air and off to their holiday destinations.
July 1st is going to be the busiest day since COVID started, but it'll only have that record for 4 days because July 5th is going to break it.
The busiest airports, Chicago O'Hare, LAX, and McCarran Airport in Las Vegas.
And that's the rundown. China flexed its muscles and its leaders made bold proclamations today as it celebrated 100 years of communist rule. While in its territory of Hong Kong, they celebrated a different anniversary as the city undergoes Beijing-forced changes that are altering the city to its core. Britt Clennett has more on the dual anniversaries and dual realities.
Thousands of officers deployed for a holiday. This is Hong Kong's reality.
This is usually where the July 1st protest happens. It's usually packed with protesters. Today, it's a sea of blue.
Tension remains in the air as the city marks 24 years since its return to China and 1 year since Beijing imposed a draconian national security law. Any hint of resistance in this former British colony to Chinese rule is met with a heavy hand.
Okay, police are storming forward. They've been warning people to leave the area for a number of minutes already, and it looks like they're extremely angry. There were a group of people who were cursing them before, and this is what we're left with.
According to Amnesty International, Hong Kong is on a rapid path to becoming a police state. Meanwhile, in Beijing today, a lavish victory lap. China celebrating 100 years of the Communist Party rule. President Xi declaring in front of tens of thousands gathered in Tiananmen Square that the Communist Party is in its prime and that only through its governance will the country, including Hong Kong, continue what Xi calls its irreversible rise.
The Chinese people will never allow any outside forces to bully, oppress, or enslave us. Anyone who tries to do so will have their heads bloodied against a great wall of steel.
Beijing has promoted Hong Kong's top security official to become the number 2 leader in the city, rewarding him for enforcing the security law, a clear signal of how pleased the Chinese leadership is with what's happened over the past year. Hong Kong police have arrested 117 and charged 61 under the law, including almost the entire pro-democracy camp of lawmakers and media tycoon Jimmy Lai. At the same time, the once safe space for the freewheeling Hong Kong media is shrinking. Just last week, Lai's Apple Daily, under pressure from the security law, was forced to close after editorial staff were arrested and the company's assets frozen. A defiant crowd gathered outside the building to show their support. Inside, the final moments on the newsroom floor.
People are rushing like they usually do to finish their daily job, daily story today.
They're just getting it done?
They're just getting it done.
And some of the work, I mean, you can see them cheering behind us.
Yeah, I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah, there are so many. Did you expect this?
Not at all, not at all.
多謝, 多謝. Here it is, the final edition of Apple Daily.
Shortly after sunrise, all 1 million copies were snapped up. However, the government has not stopped with just the security law. This past spring, Beijing changed the electoral process in Hong Kong, cutting directly elected seats, and gave itself even more power to handpick lawmakers, declaring only patriots can govern Hong Kong. For many, the only response has been to leave. The changes in the city are sparking an exodus. These photos taken this week by Hong Kong Free Press at the check-in counter for a flight to London. Families bid farewell to their home, many of them not knowing whether they'll be able to return. The local media have estimated that over 100,000 people, including foreigners, have left the city in the past year. We spoke to the senior advisor to Hong Kong's leader about this.
You say if you're unhappy, leave. Where's your reassuring plea?
We are part of China. That is a fact that you can't change. Not only it's a fact you can't change, but it's a fact you need to respect.
For Beijing, with Hong Kong pro-democracy forces increasingly silenced, today Xi defiantly signalled that reunification with Taiwan, which China regards as a wayward province, was the party's next historic mission. Xi and his party appearing stronger than ever. Britt Clennett, ABC News, Hong Kong.
And before we go tonight, the image of the day, Prince William and Prince Harry together again, honoring their mother on what would have been her 60th birthday. And that's what struck us. She was just 36 when she died, so young. And the brothers unveiled a bronze statue of Diana featuring young children representing her charity work around the world. Well, that's our show for this hour. Stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, we're staying on top of a few things for you. Much more on what comes next for the Trump Organization after today's indictment. We're standing by to hear from the man who used to serve as former President Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen. Liz Cheney under fire again, her own party going after her after joining the Select Committee on January 6th, formed by
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Lunchtime at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. It's all about you.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're going to move back. Let's move back. We're surrounded by people squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kira Phillips. Thanks for streaming with us. We are monitoring several developments here at ABC News this hour. Republican Liz Cheney facing backlash tonight from her own party after accepting Nancy Pelosi's invitation to be part of the Select Committee to investigate what happened on January 6th when we witnessed that deadly Capitol Hill insurrection. In a statement tonight, Cheney says she's honored to have been named to serve. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy says he was shocked to hear she would accept the assignment. The NFL has fined the Washington football team $10 million after a workplace culture investigation. More than 150 people were interviewed as part of the independent probe, which comes after a number of sexual harassment allegations by previous employers over a 15-year period. Meghan McCain is leaving The View. The co-host announced today that she will be departing after the current season wraps up at the end of July. The conservative co-host says it was not an easy decision, and being a co-host was one of the most wonderful privileges of her life. President Biden met with first responders working desperately to find more survivors of the building collapse in Surfside, and also took time to speak with the families waiting in anguish and holding out hope. Victor Akendo has more.
Tonight, rescue efforts resuming at Champlain Tower South after being suspended for most of the day. Crews suddenly evacuating in the early morning hours, fearing what remains of the condominium could come down.
We're doing everything we can to ensure that the safety of our first responders is paramount and to continue our search and rescue operation as soon as it is safe to do so.
Shortly after 2 a.m., crews finding troubling signs, including widening cracks and movement in a large column hanging at the site. But now Surfside's mayor says search and rescue is back to work full power. This as President Biden and the First Lady traveled here to Surfside, Florida today, visiting the growing memorial.
The whole nation is mourning with these families. They see it every day on television. They're going through hell. And those who survived the collapse, as well as those who are missing loved ones.
Biden meeting with first responders and rescue teams. Afterwards, spending time privately for hours with grieving families, including Bettina Obias, whose aunt and uncle are among the missing.
I'm still hoping that there's a miracle, but I also want them to make sure that nobody gets hurt anymore, right? These people are risking their lives too. We had to think about them.
This evening, the death toll stands at 18. Including the first children, sisters 10-year-old Lucia and 4-year-old Emma Guada. And there are 145 people still unaccounted for. Great-grandparents Arnie and Miriam Notkin among them. Their great-grandson Sean holding a Surfside Strong sign, the family holding on to hope.
And our thanks to Victor Akendo. Now to the dramatic scene today in Manhattan. In a courtroom there, the Trump Organization's CFO in handcuffs after he and the Trump Organization were indicted for alleged tax fraud. So what does it mean for the former president? Our John Carl has the latest.
Alan Weisselberg, a man who has spent nearly a half-century as a top executive in the company where Donald Trump made his fortune and fame, was brought into court today in handcuffs. He and the former president's business empire were charged in what prosecutors today called a sweeping and audacious scheme to avoid paying taxes. Weisselberg is the Trump Organization's chief financial officer.
Replacing George this week is my chief financial officer, Alan Weisselberg. And you think George is tough? Wait till you see Alan.
Prosecutors accused Weisselberg and the Trump Organization of compensating top executives off the books so the business and the executives could pay less in taxes. Weisselberg himself is accused of avoiding taxes on $1.7 million in fringe benefits over the past 15 years, including a rent-free apartment in Manhattan, 2 Mercedes-Benz automobiles for him and his wife, and private school tuition for their 2 children. The tuition, the indictment says, was paid by personal checks drawn on the account of and signed by Donald J. Trump. Weisselberg pleaded not guilty. As for Donald Trump, he says the entire 2-year investigation is politically motivated.
It's a disgusting thing. It's very unfair.
One potentially key witness is Weisselberg's former daughter-in-law, who is cooperating with investigators.
He knows where the bodies are buried, and he's the one that does the deals. He's the one that knows where every penny goes.
Trump told ABC News Weisselberg is, quote, a tremendous person. They are pressuring him, setting him up. They want him to lie against Trump.
And our thanks to John Carl. For more on today's indictment, we are joined now by Michael Cohen. He is, of course, Trump's former attorney and longtime fixer. who flipped on Trump and has been cooperating now with federal and state authorities for years. He's also the author of the New York Times bestseller, Disloyal, the true story of the former personal attorney to President Donald J. Trump. And he also has his own podcast now. Well, Michael, it's been quite a day for your former boss, wouldn't you say?
It's been a heavy day for everybody at the Trump organization because none of them know who's next. And that's the biggest problem. It's the uncertainty that sort of boggles the mind.
So this investigation stemmed from your congressional testimony that the Trump organization valued its holdings differently when seeking loans versus paying taxes. That part of the investigation continues. Are you at all surprised by today's indictment?
No, not at all. You know, the way that these indictments generally work is that they're done twofold. So the prosecutors can bring a wide range and a sweeping set of indictments that include multiple people, or they can do it the way that they're doing now. But the one thing that you have to acknowledge is that Mark Pomerantz, who's been doing this for years, he is a seasoned veteran when it comes to RICO claims. He knows exactly what he's doing, as does Cyrus Vance Jr. So now couple those two with Tish James, our Attorney General, and rest assured that this today is neither the beginning nor the end of this investigation.
Well, let me ask you this. You knew Alan very well. You worked with him. Did you ever believe that he was committing tax fraud? You were on the inside, Michael.
Yeah, but when it comes to what they were doing personally for themselves, nobody knew other than Donald, Alan, and possibly the accountant, and maybe Jeff McConney because he was booking it. But short of that, it's not as if you're going to commit a crime and you're going to bring in other people in the organization to turn around and to say, hey, look, you know, we're just not going to properly book our cars, or I'm giving this guy a free apartment in Manhattan. And so we're not going to, but nobody's going to tell you that sort of stuff. This was stuff that was done only between Donald and Alan.
Well, the indictment shows that there were checks signed by Trump when it came specifically to Weisselberg's private education for his sons. So do you remember that being the case, that Donald Trump signed all the checks?
Yeah, well, Donald Trump signed every check. I mean, there were a handful of checks that Alan was permitted to sign. They were checks that were probably like under $500 or so, or that didn't deal with the Trump organization. Maybe it was with some of the condos that were recurring checks like water, sewage, et cetera. But every single check in that organization for any expenses, for any invoices, were all done by Donald Trump. So the fact that Donald signed these checks that went to Columbia Grammar and Prep, the private school that the grandchildren go to, and there are all four of them that are there, doesn't surprise me at all.
So let me ask you this. There was a time that you told me you would never break your loyalty to Trump, but in the end, you flipped on him. So will Alan do the same?
Absolutely, 100%, because what you ultimately learn is that, and it's hard to put yourself in my situation, where you really feel that you're something different, that you're special, that Donald Trump would never do to you, for example, what he ended up doing to me. And you start to believe your own nonsense until ultimately what ends up happening? He stops paying the lawyers. And he says, why should I be paying your legal fees? Well, because we have a joint defense agreement, and everything that I'm doing, I did it at your direction and your behest. So he will do the same thing to Alan, because history repeats itself. And as soon as he starts getting the invoices and the millions of dollars for the trial expenses and for the litigation expenses, he's going to say, what am I doing? Why am I paying for Alan's legal fees? Let Alan pay for it. There'll be a break. There'll be a rift. And Donald Trump doesn't care about anyone other than himself. So what Alan should be doing is looking to see exactly what happened to me. And he knows, because he was involved in those conversations, to basically excommunicate me. And what will happen is that he'll get replaced by, say, Don Jr. or Eric or somebody else that'll say, Dad, what are you doing? Or Donald, what are you doing? Why are you paying for Alan's legal fees when this is Alan's fault? Alan's the CFO. Alan was supposed to know that you can't do this. He was working in conjunction with the accounting firm. So why are you paying for it? And Donald will be like, you're right. I shouldn't be paying for it. He'll stop. And then all of a sudden, Alan's going to realize, hashtag welcome to Under the Bus Club.
Well, look. Okay, Under the Bus Club. But you had been with him for a decade. Alan has been with him, the family, since the 70s. Clearly, you two know how the Trump organization operates, how Trump operates. You know his personality. So why would Alan hang in there? Why do you hang in there? Is it the gravy train of Trump? I mean, you come out looking pretty good. You get a lot of benefits when you're tied to Trump until you're caught doing something. Then, as you say, you're thrown under the bus. So why did you stick?
I'm so sorry, Kira. I'm so sorry. What benefits are you referring to? Yes, Alan got an apartment for his son. Alan got a car. I never got an apartment. I bought my apartment. And on top of that, I was never given a car. I was never given money towards my vehicle. I owned my vehicle. So what was the benefit? Let me give you the answer into what it is that you think that you're saying. First and foremost, we all believe, for some unknown reason, the Trump org is a cult, and we believe that we're special. We believe that he would never do to us the things that he did or that he's going to do to Alan. So why did I end up coming clean? Because I didn't want history to remember me as the villain of Donald Trump's story. I wasn't going to go down and allow Donald to throw me under the bus. I just couldn't do it to my family. I couldn't do it to the country. And Alan will ultimately see the exact same thing that I did. It's just going to take him a little bit of time.
So you think he's going to flip? We'll wait and see and see what happens. That's exactly what you said you'd even advise him to do. Now, the next question is, when you see in the indictment that it mentions other individuals within the Trump organization, executives, do you think that the former president and or his family members, his kids, will be held accountable in any way for tax fraud or anything else, face any type of criminal charges as we move forward?
So the answer is yes. I do believe that they will all be held accountable for their own dirty deeds. I believe that the documents that are in the possession of the prosecutors at this moment certainly substantiate the statement, and ultimately that's exactly what's going to happen. Each and every one of them are going to get caught up in this broad, sweeping investigation.
Are you going to be a part of that, and are you helping investigators prove that there are other things they need to look into with regard to some type of fraud when it comes to the former president and his kids?
Well, it's been reported I've been before the district attorney more than 10 times. I have provided them with information that they have asked, including documentary evidence. So not to get into the sum and substance of those conversations with the DA and what the probe is, there are more than a dozen different areas that are being investigated at the present moment by both the district attorney as well as the attorney general's office. And each and every one of them is significant. And there are different actors in each of the different investigations. Some, of course, are overlapping, such as Donald, but there are different actors in some of the different investigations. And I do ultimately believe that the Trump family and Donald himself will be held accountable.
I have a feeling we will be talking once again. Michael Cohen, I appreciate your time.
My pleasure, Kira.
Next to the major Supreme Court decision on voting rights, the conservative majority upholding 2 Arizona voting restrictions that could have broader implications in the battle over voting rights nationwide. ABC's Terry Moran has more.
With states across the country passing new laws that make voting more difficult, especially for minorities, the Supreme Court today gave a green light. By a 6-3 vote, the conservative majority on the court upheld 2 election laws in Arizona. One criminalizes the collection of ballots by third parties, dubbed ballot harvesting by critics. The other requires election officials to throw out ballots cast at the wrong precinct. Voting rights activists offered evidence that these laws impact Native Americans and other minorities more than whites in Arizona and claimed they violated the Voting Rights Act. But in today's ruling, Justice Samuel Alito, writing for the court, brushed that evidence aside, saying the burden on minority voters was minor. Mere inconvenience cannot be enough to justify a violation of the Voting Rights Act, Alito wrote. In an impassioned dissent, Justice Elena Kagan, writing for the court's liberals, declared, "What is tragic is that the court has damaged the statute designed to bring about the end of discrimination in voting." And in Arizona, Native American activists said the ruling will make it harder for them to vote.
Only 26% of Native Americans live on a postal route, meaning you can't get mail at home in most places. And that's why ballot collection mattered.
Today's ruling is going to make it harder for the Department of Justice or anyone else to challenge these new election laws, to show that they have a discriminatory impact on minority voters. They'll have to have more evidence of that, meticulous evidence, or evidence that they were passed with a discriminatory intent. And that's hard. But President Biden today, in a statement, vowed to continue the fight for voting rights, saying, quote, "Democracy is on the line." Kira?
Terry Moran, thanks so much. Well, tonight, growing concern over the COVID Delta variant. The CDC director calling it hypertransmissible, and the White House now preparing to deploy surge response teams to hotspots. Marcus Moore has more.
Facing what it calls a hypertransmissible Delta variant, the White House tonight launching surge response teams to send to virus hotspots.
To be clear, the federal government stands ready to meet the moment and work with our state partners to respond to the Delta variant.
The Delta variant now behind about 1 in 4 new cases. It comes as the White House plans a 4th of July celebration to mark what the president hoped would be our independence from the virus.
We are celebrating as a country at the same time as we recognize the fact that we're in a serious situation for those who have not been vaccinated.
The worst hotspot in southwestern Missouri, where a surge of COVID patients forced one hospital to transfer nearly 24 people to Kansas City and St. Louis hospitals.
But I'm concerned about people gathering and us having even more significant uptick in the 10 to 14 days after the 4th of July weekend.
About 1,000 counties have vaccination rates under 30%.
We expect to see increased transmissions in these communities unless we can vaccinate more people now.
Early data shows nearly all COVID deaths in the last 6 months were in unvaccinated people. In Orlando, Debbie and Mike Schaefer didn't get the vaccine, then caught the virus in May.
We were apprehensive because it came out so quickly. And so we just wanted to see if there were going to be any long-term effects.
Mike says the wait cost his wife, Debbie, her life.
I don't want her death to go in vain. I wanted to encourage people, to help people maybe save lives by getting vaccinated.
And our thanks to Marcus Moore. Still to come, striking it rich. One day after the NCAA changes its rules on whether athletes can make money, these creative twin hoopsters are already cashing in. And the tribute that brought Prince Harry and Prince William together again to honor their late mother on what would have been her 60th birthday. Stay with us.
Now, when it matters most, the straightforward facts. ABC News is America's #1 news. Good Morning America, #1 in the morning, 9 years running. World News Tonight with David Muir, #1 in the evening with America's most watched newscast. 2020, the #1 news magazine on Friday nights. The View, the #1 daytime talk show. And ABC News Live, #1 in streaming news. ABC News is America's #1 news. Tomorrow, we're kicking off the start to the July 4th weekend with Lady A on GMA. The weekend party starts right here. Tomorrow with Good Morning America's Summer Concert Series, sponsored by Caesars Rewards. Friday nights, 9/8 Central. True crime, cinematic, real-life drama, stunning, the unthinkable. Follow the clues. The Hunt. True crime. 2020. Friday nights, 9/8 Central on ABC.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America in the afternoon?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Lunchtime at 1 Eastern, 12 Central and Pacific on ABC. It's all about you.
I know what happened, and I'm not guilty.
Why the fascination with criminal trials? Figure out what's really out there.
She revealed she had murdered his family.
I know in my heart they did this.
It's the time of suspicion.
The ending's really tough.
You don't know whether truth is going to be difficult to find unless you try to find it.
This is what being live is all about. This is ABC News Live.
All right, we're gonna move back. Let's move back.
We're surrounded by people
squeezing into this bomb shelter.
We're on an urgent delivery run.
Not afraid to go there.
So my question, Mr. President, what are you so afraid of?
Breaking news, live events.
This is the moment.
Streaming straight to you, anytime, anywhere.
You just met one friend right here.
You're watching ABC News Live. Thanks for streaming with us.
And we're tracking several international headlines at this hour. Take a look at this wild video. A blue wooden migrant boat with at least 24 people on board, allowed at high speed, followed at high speed by the Libyan Coast Guard. The Coast Guard is also seen shooting at the boat to stop it from crossing the Mediterranean Sea into Europe. A nonprofit group filmed the whole thing while flying over the area during a mission. The Libyan Coast Guard claims they were actually trying to rescue the migrants. A sign of climate change, a glacier in Italy has been covered up to prevent it from melting. You can see the strips laid across the glacier that are meant to slow down the melting of the snow on the surface. The strips work kind of like the sun shades that we put on our car's dashboard to prevent it from heating up. Experts say about 70% of the snow can be saved over the summer season by using this protective covering. And the woman responsible for that terrible crash during the Tour de France has told police she has a feeling of shame and fear in the face of the consequences of her act. And she referred to her actions as, quote, a blunder. She says she was simply trying to send an affectionate message to her grandparents, who are avid watchers of the cycling events. The local police chief has asked for calm after calls for violence against the suspect started popping up on social media, and the tour organizers have decided to drop the lawsuit against her. Well, it's quite literally been a game-changing week for the NCAA after the league announced it would adopt an interim policy that would allow athletes to profit off their name, image, and likeness. The new move is one of the most transformative measures in the history of the league. And joining me now to talk about that, twin sisters whose TikTok fame has now allowed them to already start taking advantage of the new measure, and that means new deals. Fresno State basketball players Haley and Hannah Cavender, what a past 24 hours you ladies have had. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having us.
It's such a pleasure. And I told you I'm a mom of twins, so I'm a little biased here. I'm very excited to be talking to you guys. I hope my twins will be as successful as you. So let me ask you that. Yes. Tell me, I mean, can you tell me, are we talking big bucks here? I mean, are you guys like, you know, rolling in the Benjamins now?
I don't know about all that, but we're just super excited to be working with all these brands and learning more about them, and so happy that the NIL did pass because all the athletes deserve to have this opportunity.
Okay, so Haley, tell me what you think. What's the first thing you're going to do with these new deals and the money that's going to start coming in? You guys have had to have your heart set on something.
Honestly, we're just trying to take in the moment. It's been crazy. The last 24 hours has been so surreal. I mean, this blew our expectations away, just coming down to New York and then getting the first deal on Icon from Boost Mobile was just such a surreal moment that I think we're just trying to take in before we take any steps.
Okay, so tell me how it happened. Were you guys just talking and having fun, or did you think your TikTok videos were just going to take off?
No, we definitely did not expect that. During quarantine, obviously, we were just trying to kill time, and I actually had my own account, and I wanted Haley to just come make a basketball video with me one day, and we were like, holy cow, we woke up the next morning, and boom, there's so many views, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So we kind of just domino affected off of that, and here we are.
All right, so we're now looking at one of your TikTok videos that went viral. So tell me what you do. Do you do tricks? Do you do a dance?
We really just listened to the beat of the song and how we could incorporate dribbling to it to make it all flow. And then we just started doing it, and we would send TikTok beats to each other at night and be like, this would be such a cool thing to do with basketballs. And it just kind of took off from there.
So do you guys do these moves on the court?
Yes, for sure. It definitely helps our handles too.
Okay, that is amazing. Do you play better when you do these moves?
Yeah, they're definitely good moves. I mean, if you look at all the TikToks, we try to incorporate different moves each time to make them as unique as possible. But we just try to have fun with it, and I think a little extra ball handling not gonna hurt you. So.
And what got you guys interested in basketball? And also, both of you, and you're both good players. Give me the backstory.
Both my parents were super athletic growing up. My mom and dad played basketball, so we just kind of had that in our blood. I think Hannah and I tried out all sports growing up, but in junior high, we were like, let's play basketball together. And then we had the dream of going to play Division I basketball together. So it's just crazy to be able to play basketball with my twin.
And so do the fans show up now just to see the two of you play? I mean, it's already fun to watch twins, but now you're TikTok stars. You're getting these deals, and your moves are pretty darn cool.
I think just having any fans at our games and supporting our team is the most exciting for us. So whatever helps the team for sure, but we obviously love our fans back at Fresno.
All right, so be honest with me. Who's got the best shot and who's got the best dance move?
Honestly, it goes in every given day. I mean, shooting-wise, I think Hannah and I switch off and on game to game. We're very, very similar. And then dancing-wise, I mean, I think I could go one up her on that. But that's just my opinion. Certain moves, I would say, not true. But
well, I'll tell you what, if you don't play in the WNBA, ladies, you definitely are going to move into the dance world. I could see you in a J-Lo video very easily.
Oh.
Okay, I want 10% of that deal, okay?
Okay.
Hannah and Haley, I am so going to be watching your basketball games now. I can't wait. Thanks so much for joining me, and best of luck. I hope that more players get sponsorships like this and deals like this, because it is tough for female athletes when you compare it to male athletes. This is such a great story. #GoWomen. Love it.
Great. Thank you so much for having us.
You bet, guys. And finally tonight, she's 82 years young, and we learned today that she will soon make history as the oldest person to fly into space. It's a chance that this aviation pioneer and former astronaut actually should have received decades ago, and tonight she says she can hardly wait. Our Lindsay Davis has the beautiful story.
For decades, Wally Funk dreamed of becoming an astronaut.
I just want to get into space.
An aerospace pioneer, the first female inspector for the FAA, and in the 1960s, she was the youngest member of the Mercury 13, the first group of women put through rigorous astronaut testing.
I feel after all those tests that I had, I can do it, and I can do it just as well as anybody else.
She says she passed all those exams better and faster than any of the men who later went on to become NASA's first astronauts. But the Mercury 13 never made it into space. The program was canceled.
I never had any bad feelings. I knew I was going. Sometime I will go.
And now, after nearly 20,000 hours of flight time and 82 years on this planet, it's finally happening.
We're going to fly you up into space on the very first flight. That's your
Funk is set to join Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos on the first human flight on his Blue Origin rocket later this month.
You're going to be an astronaut.
Oh, finally!
Bezos and the Blue Origin team documenting the moment.
We open the hatch and you step outside. What's the first thing you say?
I will say, honey, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'll give you a phone.
Set to become the oldest person in space, Funk still paving the way for the next generation.
The only thing a woman needs to compete in a man's world is ability. Go for everything you can. Higher, faster, longer.
Higher, faster, longer. Lindsay Davis, thank you so much for that story. Now we're going to take off. Our show is over for tonight, but stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. I'm Kira Phillips. Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Now, when it matters most, the straightforward facts.